Hey, are you thinking about selling your house but don't know how much it costs? Well, that's you. Stay tuned because I'll break down all the cost of selling a house that you may not know about. See you in a minute. What is going on? Justin Forehand here with eXp Realty. Welcome back to Huntsville Dreaming. Been a little minute, but life's been busy. Business has been going. But we're back this week with a video on the cost of selling a house. A lot of times sellers think they're just going to sell their house and collect big profits and not have to pay out of pocket for anything. But that's not true. There are costs to selling a house. A lot of it's paid with proceeds out of the sale of the house. But there could be things that come up, from the time you go under contract to the day you close. And we're going to cover what these things are that could happen throughout the process. So, when I do a seller consultation, I ask how much the seller would like to try to get when they sell their house, and then I give a recommendation on what I think the house could sell for. And what I do is I put that in an estimated closing sheet, or other known as a net sheet, and it breaks down everything that a buyer and a seller would be responsible for during the transaction. So there are multiple things that are on this on the seller side, and a couple in ours here in Huntsville that's put out by NAR. The first one is the broker fee, the commission for the real estate agent to sell the house. And contrary to what the media is putting out right now because of this NAR settlement, the commission was never mandated by NAR. It's always been negotiable, at least for the last 7 years that I've been doing this. I have 3 different packages that I offer every seller, and based on the level of marketing they would like from me, that's how much I charge for selling their house. It's not mandated by anybody. It's what I choose to charge based on the value that I provide, and that's that. So, of course, we'll find more out about this as it gets approved and everything goes live in July. We'll see how things work out, how sellers react to it. But as of right now, I have 3 different packages. Agents do things a little different, but it is what it is. So that's why you should also interview other agents just to see what they do. Another cost that will show up on the estimated closing statement is attorney documentation preparation, title binding fees, attorney closing costs, things like that. Those are sometimes split between the buyer and seller depending on what it is. Like title insurance is split between the buyer and the seller. Another thing is taxes. So taxes go from October 1st through September 30th. If you were to sell your house April 1st, you as the seller would be responsible from October 1st through March 31st. And then the buyer would be responsible for the remainder of the year. This is everything that I've gone through over so far is paid out of proceeds at closing. So those are the things that are usually on an estimated closing sheet. I can give an estimate on what it would be. The lender will give you what should be the holy grail that usually comes out a couple days. They kind of give you an estimate as they go along, but the final CD should be put out a couple days before closing, so you know what to expect on the day of closing. Another thing that could happen during the process is a buyer could ask for closing concessions or seller concessions, closing cost, and a lot of times that is a veteran getting a VA loan. VA loans, the veteran is not supposed to pay certain things like prepaids and all that stuff that is associated with a loan, and most of the time that is asked for by the buyer for the seller to pay. It's not always tied to a VA loan. Anybody with a conventional loan, FHA, USDA could ask for seller concessions, but most of the time it's tied to VA loan. So that's just another thing you can kind of expect. If you say we accept VA loans, then that's just something that could happen. Just expect that if you receive an offer from a veteran for a VA loan. And probably the one that gets most sellers, if it's not communicated during the process or during the beginning of the process, is request for repairs. This is a big one in the state of Alabama, of course, where Huntsville is. It is a buyer beware state, and the buyer is responsible for finding all the defects for a house. A seller does not have to disclose things that are wrong with the house like they do in, I think, 36 other states, or I don't know how many it is. But in the state of Alabama, it's the buyer's responsibility. And when they do an inspection, whatever shows up on that inspection that is health and safety related, the seller is supposed to fix. And a lot of times, I know I do it when I'm representing a buyer, I request that a licensed technician, licensed contractor, licensed electrician is the one who fixes these health and safety related items. If it's electrical, something in the electrical box where you got overload on a circuit, it needs to be fixed by a licensed electrician. And licensed people can cost a little bit more money. So just expect, if your home is a little older, codes have changed. Things like GFCI outlets in the kitchen were not required in 1975 or 1982, but they are now. And any outlets that are near a water source will need to be GFCI. And so you can expect that to be on that inspection report if it's not done before you put the house on the market. So that is one that gets a lot of people. Things can add up quick, and this is things that you will most likely have to pay for out of pocket during the process. There are contractors and subcontractors that will wait until closing to collect. And so, you can always work with a real estate agent that knows contractors, and you could work out a deal where it'll come out of the proceeds when you close the transaction. So I've done that plenty of times in the past, where I've found a good contractor that will wait until closing. But just have that expectation that there could be something based on, of course, the age and the condition of the house that could come up during that inspection period when you go on a contract. So those are the big cost. They're not really hidden costs, but costs that could come up during the time that you're selling your house. So just real quick, I'll go over them again. Of course, the brokerage fee, taxes, closing attorney cost, if the buyer asks the seller to pay for closing costs, and then anything that comes up for request for repairs. Those are the things that usually show up. And I try to go as far in depth as when I'm in the seller consultation, so that the seller is aware that these things are there. They could happen, and I make sure that they. I don't know if you heard that. Colleen just got home. The dogs went crazy. Sorry. We also watch dogs. Those are the things that could come up for cost while selling your house. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to reach out. Phone number is 256-542-0226. If you have any questions about this, anything real estate related, feel free to give me a call. I love to talk about this stuff all day. It's what I love to do. So if you have any questions about Huntsville, things to do, best places to live, best schools, that type of thing, feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk to you about that. And just if you have any, like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you again next week. Have a good day. All right, so with the dogs barking the other day, it kind of got me off track, and I forgot to mention one other cost. I'm at this open house for one of my listings, and it's a vacant house, and it reminded me that's another cost. So one of the things that if you were to move early or move out before the house is sold and the house is vacant, you still are responsible for leaving the electricity, the water, utilities, that type of thing on until the house closes. So if you know, in certain markets, if the house is on the market for 2 months after you move out, you're still responsible for that. Leave the power on for that 2 months. Also, yards need to be upkept, that type of thing. So there could be landscaping costs if you pay somebody to cut your grass while you're not here anymore. So that's just another thing I thought of, and it's just an added cost to selling your house. All right. Thank you for watching. You have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week.